I'll take Greek and Latin for 500, Alex. I can. There's nothing that I can't do. Oops, I shouldn't say that out loud. I'll add something else to my job description. There we go. Like, this character was found in the... Yes.
You are live, so as soon as you want me to, I can kick us off.
Okay. I'm all yours. Well. Good afternoon. Welcome to the First Unitarian Society, and I am the Minister of Lifelong Learning, J. Exodus Hooper, and I am excited to share with you the second part of our service today. We decided to extend our program of Ethical Explorers, where we are showcasing the work There Is Hope from the Mean Green. Following this program, we will have a 3:30 artist talk back. That is Central Time. If you are joining us for the first time, feel free to join us in all of the activities. If you are online and joining us, feel free to put in the chat the various things that you are experiencing and feeling. And for this moment, we ask you to engage to the best of your ability. This play particularly is a choreo poem that actually engages two characters, Corey and Farai, as they confront the ecological crisis impacting their community and regarding the waterways of the Mississippi. Farai ends up being sick, and Corey ends up seeking guidance from an ancient spirit water goddess named Oshun. I now invite you and all of the players to join us in There Is Hope from the Mean Green. I turn it over to now Mage.
Hi, y'all. Let's get started. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside and study war no more. We're gonna study war no more. Ain't 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 gonna study war no more. I'm gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside and study war no more. Ain't gonna 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 study war no more. I'm gonna shake hands around the world, down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna shake hands around the world, down by the riverside and study war no more. Ain't gonna 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 study war no more.
Sorry, bud. There were too many rumors about toxic water.
Remember when those kids in Flint were lugging water off their backs?
Wow. Yeah, that was a few years back. I can't believe you thought of that. You were so young. That picture stays in my head, too. They were wearing purple, blue, and white uniforms with white collar button-ups and...
Oh, the Mary Janes with the socks.
Yes, Corey, and the shiny black patent leather Mary Janes with the socks. I'm embarrassed to say that your memory is way better than mine was at your age. One should be honored to have acquired such a gift.
You have a gift?
My anime drawings?
No.
My TikTok videos?
Clearly, we are reaching for the stars.
Okay, I'm starting to feel like you're trolling me.
Your stories. Time freezes when you tell your stories.
Oh. Well, did I ever tell you the story of the Basswoods? Did I ever tell you the story of the Basswoods? And why the folks in Minnie love them so much?
The tree sap?
Yeah, the light, sticky syrup is unique to that tree. They run along the entire Mississippi.
Can we try some?
Depends. It's protected. The sap doesn't belong to us.
What's it depend on?
Oshun.
Is she here?
She's at every riverway. And she's particular, not easily convinced. She'll want to know if you understand how your every action affects others.
By taking a tiny taste of sap. Dang, Oshun be bugging.
It's not that simple, young grasshopper. Oshun doesn't like to take any chances. She may be generous with her love, but not with her trust.
Who hurt her?
The other Orishas, they didn't appreciate her. They thought there were more important things than honey, water, and beauty.
I hate that this keeps happening to you.
It's happening more often. It helps when I slow down. I hate that this happens, no matter how far we are from school.
I don't understand.
Well, that clean, green energy power plant behind the school.
No, not that. Everyone's affected by that. I just don't understand why Oshun's gifts are underappreciated.
I don't know. You gotta ask Oshun herself about that. You know, she can be seen during the new moon. I think I saw her once while glancing at my reflection in the riverbank. If you have questions, she has answers.
Where campground.
Oshun? Oshun? Is that you? It's nice to meet you. I like your tail. I brought you some honey from home. It's local. We need your help. Farai was rushed to the hospital tonight from wheezing too much. That power plant has been, ever since that mean green power plant has been out here, everyone has sick. They said it'd be good for us, would bring us cleaner energy. They didn't say it would make us sick. And it made everything sick. Even the river. The power plant is greedy. They act like we don't matter.
Orange blossom, river goddess, dark, the most beautiful, an embodiment of love, Oshun. Oshun sweet, Oshun bitter, Oshun salty, sour. Oshun sat perched on the moon, peering down below. One day, she was sent down by Liv'n, a wise elder. She was requested to join the other Orishas on earth. Together, they would create life in the world. But even though the Orishas admired Oshun's beauty, they failed to understand her worth. And Oshun is sensitive to insult. She knows her value. So she leapt back onto the moon, admired herself in the moon's glow, unbothered. She knew not much would get done without her. And as soon as she left, the sweet water dried up all over the earth. Land became infertile, plant and animal life ceased. The Orishas were confused by their sudden lack of success. Desperate, they began to dig deep into the earth, looking for signs of life, food, resources. They watched in horror as the land became gray. They were foolish to believe that their giftings would be enough without love, respect for the land, and pure, sweet, sustaining water. They went back to Olodumare, complaining about the barren land. Olodumare explained, Oshun's love, beauty, energy is essential to create the world and the life in it. We are in fact interdependent and need each other for survival, working together to protect and honor Earth. Walking lightly, the humiliated Orishas begged for Oshun's forgiveness, and she accepted, but warned, "Don't!" And just like the cycle of life, when she returned, the world again was fertile, lush. Her warning shouldn't be taken lightly. Warming oceans, rising sea levels, shrinking ice sheets, glacial retreat are signs that we are lacking her love, beauty, energy. Signs that we are not taking care of our Earth.
Okay, this is a moment in the performance where we ask everyone to engage. Here before me I have honey, which is going to be held by our queen bee. You may come forward, our queen bee. And there are 4 stations that represent this day, which is called Earth Day. This is the Earth Day celebration. Honey is often an offering for Oshun. Over here near the window, you will see dirt or some form of earth. We ask you to take a cup and scoop some and take back to your seats. Before us is also water, and the other is almond milk on this side. I'm going to offer you the opportunity now, while some music plays, for you to take the opportunity to receive your own, and then we will follow up with libations right after. You may all take a moment and go to your stations that feel most comfortable for you. Let's. Hopefully you have received from the earth something sweet, something nourishing, something grounding, something refreshing. Now we take the opportunity to go further into our libations. Libations, if you see in your program, if you have one, you will notice that it is a practice, a ceremonial practice that honors sites of memory, people, things that hold importance. Most of the time we name these things. And so I'm going to invite you and a few of us to just call out waterways that have deep significance to you. As a waterway is called out, me or Avi will pour out grains as a representation of those names. And then we will conclude by saying the word Ashe 3 times, which means to make it happen. The first waterway, I will just start us off, and then you may call out freely. The James River.
Great Salt Lake.
Lake Harriet. Lake Vidimacasta. Lobo Lake.
Lake Superior. Niagara River Delta.
The Atlantic.
Lake Hiawatha. Cedar Lake.
The Nile. Indian Ocean.
Aegean.
and for all of the waterways that have not been named, and for all of those waterways that have brought us to this place or any other place. We call them out, we remember them, and we say Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Thank you.
So, can you tell that mean green power company to turn off their incinerator and to don't do it again?
Oh, my sweet honey child, that is not how this works. Listen, I always knew that I had everything I needed inside of me, and you do too. Revolutionary ancestral knowledge lives within you. Bravery, innovation, and sass live within you. Between you and your community, there are a wealth of resources to be discovered. So return to your family, love on them, and have real conversations about what is happening. Return to your community and remind them of the beauty that exists when we work together. Fuel that energy from your passion for equity, safety, and protection for Earth, your home. No one knows the destruction that's occurring like you and your community do. Make sure everyone hears your story and don't stop until you are sure they are listening.
I went home that night and told my parents that we couldn't stand here and allow things to get worse. So we held our first community meeting. We researched a ton, and apparently we weren't the first case. In fact, there are hundreds of other cases like this one from Curtis Bay.
South Baltimore is home to the largest medical waste incinerator in the country.
And today, the state attorney general announced the company operated illegally in the community for years, putting public health at risk.
WMER2 News' Elizabeth Worthington joins us with the details of that big announcement. Elizabeth?
Yeah, Kelly and Jamie, the previous owners of the company pleaded guilty to 40 criminal counts for improperly disposing of medical waste. The state says former facility management knew they were breaking the law and went out of their way to hide it from investigators. Biohazardous materials capable of causing diseases in healthy people, that's probably the last thing you want leaking into the air and water in your community. But that's exactly what happened in Curtis Bay, says the Maryland Attorney General.
It is what the previous owner of Curtis Bay Energy didn't do when they received this special medical waste that was most egregious.
The previous owner now admits with a guilty plea the company was improperly and illegally disposing of medical waste in an attempt to make its operations move faster. Once the AG's office got wind of this, they began an investigation in the fall of 2019. Over the next 3 years, investigators saw evidence of the contamination firsthand, including when they trailed the company's trucks as they took waste to a landfill.
During the transports, the trailer leaked fluid, so much so that it got on investigators' cars and windshields as they trailed behind the truck conducting surveillance.
When the Department of Environment conducted inspections of the premises, the previous owners deliberately interfered and attempted to conceal illegal discharges during those inspections.
And do you know who got those investigations to happen?
Washington may be the center of power, but it doesn't have a monopoly on it. About 35 miles from here, a young woman flexed her muscles to save her neighborhood. John Blackstone now on The Power of Destiny.
When 20-year-old Destiny Watford won a Golden Environmental Prize last night, it recognized an unlikely campaign she started as a high school student to protect her Baltimore neighborhood.
We decided that it isn't the fate of our community or our planet to be a dumping ground.
Destiny grew up in Curtis Bay, a part of Baltimore with smokestack industries and some of the worst air pollution in the country. She made it her mission to stop construction of a huge new industrial incinerator less than a mile from her high school. The plant had already been approved by both the city and state.
How does a 17-year-old girl decide she's going to go up against the mayor, the governor, a multi-million-dollar corporation?
It was an act of survival because, like, this was our home.
The incinerator would be capable of burning 4,000 tons of trash a day. Supporters called it a renewable energy plant because burning the waste would produce electricity. But that's not all it would produce.
It was permitted to burn 240 pounds of mercury every year. It was permitted to release 1,000 pounds of lead.
Destiny, who describes herself as a shy girl, took her battle first to the Baltimore School Board. She testified at the Maryland State Capitol.
No community should be another dumping ground.
She picked up a megaphone.
Today is a day of justice. We're more likely to die from, like, air pollution instead of, like, homicides.
The pressure stalled the incinerator project, which has now lost its permit. The Goldman Environmental Prize is awarded to only one person from each continent. Destiny is this year's winner from North America. She gets $175,000.
I remember when I got the call, I thought it was a scam.
Last night proved to her it was no scam. She can do anything she wants with the money, but hopes to use it to help her neighborhood build new businesses that don't pollute. John Blackstone, CBS News, San Francisco.
That's right, a young person, Destiny Watford, made sure the executive branch listened. Do your research. What environmental injustices are happening here in Minnie? And how deep can you dig within yourself to make sure that they never do it again?
Across this bitter land, I will rise for love and justice, that we may see a better day. I will rise in peace and service for our world in disarray. I will rise with all my brothers for all those who cannot stand. I will rise with all our fathers who have lost a home and land. Oh, stand with me, rise up hand in hand. Oh, stand with me, we will rise to spread love across this bitter land. Oh, stand with me, rise up hand in hand. Oh, stand with me, we will rise to spread love across this bitter land.
I would ask you to join me if you may, or if you have it in your hand. There's the playbill. Let us read this together. And as we read this together, listen very carefully to the words. As we think about Earth, as we think about the waterways, as we think about what Earth offers us, Earth has probably the most unique places. It's one of the most unique places because we're the only people that we actually pay to live on a rock. We'll have a discussion about that later. But even though we pay to live on this rock, let us read this together. There is no scarcity. There is no shortage. No lack of love, of compassion, of joy in the world. There is enough. There is more than enough. Only fear and greed make us feel otherwise. No one needs starve. There is enough land and enough food. No one need die of thirst. There is enough water. No one need live without mercy. There is no end to grace, and we are all instruments of grace. The more we give it, the more we share it, the more we use it, more is made. There is no scarcity of love. There is plenty, and always more. Thank you. My part was not in there, so I was like, I know there's another part. So, yes. That said, I want to take the opportunity to celebrate our actors and give our audience a round of applause too for sharing in that energy. I will call each actor up, and then may you give them a round of applause and celebrate them for their hard work and efforts. And we got some little lively music for them. I swear, I love that. Check it out. All right, playing Corey, Hadassah Bovey, please. Yes, yes. Playing Farai, Avi Weiler. And how can we forget the wonderful presence of Oshun by Chandler? And this work would not be able to happen without the incredible creative direction of Penny Masuku. We also say Isabel Hopewell, who is not with us right now, but we thank her. In addition to the beautiful script writing that was done by Storey Michelle in collaboration with Avi. And let us not forget our wonderful prop team, Isaac, who did most of the props in addition to with the work of Lena Hunt on sound, in addition to Franklin Painter, who's also been moving around. So much stepping in, incredible. And to our music, let us acknowledge Mage. And Mike, our minister of music. And let us thank the puppets, and may they come up as well, who were also done by the work of Sandy Spiller. Celebrating the tech team in the back. And to the entire East Square community, we thank you. Thank you for coming to the second portion of this. We're going to have a small artist talk back. Just go ahead and take a bio break, or take care of yourself in any way that you need. And we're going to have a talk with the actor and creative director briefly for about 15 minutes. Anybody can ask further questions, all right? We'll be back. 5 minutes, y'all, 5 minutes.
I'm tired.
Hello.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. This is the Artist Talk Back. We're gonna take a few minutes and get a little bit more intimate with the artists. Kind of explore a bit of the process. As some of you probably know, I am the Minister of Lifelong Learning here at First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis. And this program actually is organized by the Ethical Explorers program here that we started this year. And I think it's very important to name that because this program is unique regarding how we engage what has often been identified within the Unitarian Universalist Association as religious education. And so we have taken the inspiration of religious education here and made it a humanist education rooted in frameworks of art, justice, and learning. And so this process requires a different kind of execution because much of what I have asked is I've asked us to do not just necessarily teach young people, but listen to them. And it's a different practice for us because most of the time when we are adulting, we are used to receiving various instruction or giving various instruction, and so we don't get a chance to really hear the autonomy, the agency, the curiosity of our youth and the world that they understand and how they understand it. And I get the wonderful opportunity to kind of be the person who does the deep listening. And I get the wonderful opportunity to see and hear and also feel some of the moments that make them come alive. And so this play is an example of that aliveness. The performance, the ideas, and what better people to have also to work with our youth in this program other than artists. And so bringing artists who have worked in the field of theater and music and then help cultivate their voices and allow for them to share it in a way that feels meaningful and right for them so they can also feel and feel grounded. So I'm gonna shut up because there's a big part of that's the ministerial part and then there's that other part of that's the producer. So I learned when to take backstage, right? So here is how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna ask that everybody from this side start to introduce themselves, their name, the character that they played or the role that they played and in this performance. And then we will come into questions, starting at the very end.
Hi, I am Chandler. I use they, them pronouns, and I played Oshun.
Hi, I'm Hadassah. I use any pronouns, and I played Corey.
Hello, my name is Avi. I use they, them pronouns, and I played Farai.
Hello, I'm Penny. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm creative director.
Hi, I'm Mage, and I sang today. Led some songs as well.
You're the musician. You're the musician. So I'm gonna start with Avi. I am. Not to popcorn call on you, but I think it's probably best because you had this wonderful opportunity. I think you and I were in the room and I saw you working on a hospital when we were trying to make some architecture and then it evolved. Can you speak to a little bit how we got from this drawing to then this kind of script intertwined?
So you first came to me about it when we were talking about beforehand. I was creating a character for a school project that I had who had it was an afterlife-esque story, and they had died of lung cancer. And essentially the idea that I had for the character was that they were a black queer person who had albinism, who was a strong advocate for the queer community and people of color, and was very courageous and active. And I wanted to make the hospital where they spent their last days for the sake of the story, but also for the sake of the character and for the sake of myself. And then Jay saw that and thought that it would, and came to me about potentially helping create a play, potentially using that character. And I agreed. So
They were voluntold. No, stop.
So I met, it was me, Dad, and then Storey. We met for 4 times, once a week. So it was for 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks. And I don't actually remember that part very well. People keep on calling me a co-author, like co-writer. I don't especially see myself like that because I didn't actually write anything. What ended up actually happening was Storey would have these I introduced Farai. So Farai replaced essentially one of the other characters because Storey had already started on the project when I came in. So yeah, essentially just what it was Storey would have really cool ideas, I would agree to them, and then me and also Dad a bit would add to them, and then Storey would take that, and then over the rest of the time we had before we met again, they would use that to create a story.
Sounds like writing to me.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, it is a collaborative process. I think what we're hearing too is this ability, and I say this, because I know most of my, my adulthood friends are, in this space. This is the moment where we take creative insecurity and we realize that there's security in creating it, right? Mm-hmm. And so what needs to happen is we do one of our best practices here, which is to elicit the best. We elicit the best. We see the inherent worth. Yeah, Mike.
Mark.
Oh, Mark, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, I'll land.
I want to say that because as an observer of this process between Storey and Avi, that there was more to, Avi had more, I think it's more of a statement of Storey's talent in being able to pull a story out of what they are recognizing, because Avi contributed a lot more than I think Avi thinks they did. There was a lot more where I could see the process. I could see Storey, asking questions, and Avi, expanding on concepts, and then Storey kind of weaving that in. So I think it's more of a statement of how smooth Storey was at doing their part, that Avi didn't realize that they were actually having as much input as they thought they were. So,
right, Mark. I was telling Mark earlier about the fact how my dissertation was written. Because of my severe dyslexia and ADHD, I had to have a writer. So I had to say what I wanted, and then it had to be organized. My thoughts had to be organized. And that's why I believe in deep listening, because some things just need to be organized in ways that it can come forth. So I would agree with Mark. I would agree with Dad. I'm gonna say Dad. About that, because that's the creative process. I'm gonna get over here, but I also wanna dig into the characters, but I want to give the creative director some time, because you got the script, and then we had like 3 weeks. And let me clarify 3 weeks. One Sunday, 10:30 to 11:30, with unpredicted attendance, uncertain what child will come, and yeah. So how you've done community theater for 13 years. So how did you make the magic happen?
Listen, we pray to whoever we pray to first. And then, really it's just trusting your people. Because I knew whoever was going to be here had already committed to the process and had already committed to just being here. And like Chandler, I tell you all the time, showing up is half the battle. So just showing up alone we needed that. That was great. Okay, and then just having to throw everything else in there was awesome too, just because I could just see the curiosity and the commitment and just the push to do more and to see the story grow and, to grow it your own, because you guys brought your own into the story. So regardless of what it was, we totally saw each and every one of you within the story too. So to answer the question full circle, it just helps when there's a room full of people who really want to, do the job right. So I thank you. If it wasn't for you guys, I can't do my job either. So I applaud all of you, everybody involved. It's important.
I think one of the other things is too is like, I'm sure you heard Avi's vision around what the characters look like, who they were supposed to be played by, and what does it mean when we have to make adaptations and adjustments, and it doesn't come out the way, based off of also our audience and our communities that we surround ourselves with. That it's a challenge. How did it? Corey is played by you, Hadassah, and so I'm wondering how. Were there parts that you felt connected to the character, or were there areas in which, that spoke to you most? Can you speak to what areas spoke to you most about the character?
Well, the areas about climate change, because the climate change is bad. We all know that, but pretty much when they were showing the videos of a 15-year-old girl, then it got me thinking about like Greta Thunberg, who was an activist at age 13, was fighting for things to be well, and she didn't get what she wanted fully, but she it got me thinking about who's all out there, who's my age, fighting for what they want.
Thank you for that. Chandler.
Hey.
Hey. You better come on and say that with an Oshun tone. Very sensual and sweet, and sassy. You play a very important role. It's funny because in Western theology, if I may for a minute here, Western theology would suggest that when we have a quote spirit or goddess, the character Corey even says, well, can't you just fix this? Tell the big machine, right? Can't you just fix this? And Oshun doesn't take on this Western idea that we pray and something happens because a god does it. Oshun finds the strength in the individual. I'm wondering what strength came up for you in playing this character?
Oh my God.
What strengths?
I think that this character is so opposite of who I am in real life, or who I see myself as. I said who I see myself as. And so I think that it really gave me the opportunity to stretch myself in a way that I have not really had the opportunity to, or had the comfort, or it had me stretch myself in a way that I was not entirely comfortable with, as you know, Jay. And so to play this such divine, such elegant character was honestly a daunting task. I was I think that so much of my own experience comes from this idea of insecurity, right? And so just to play a character who knows themselves so well, I had to tap into that inner Beyonce and bring that out, because I think I think that it really helped that I have surrounded myself with such queer with queer community who have known themselves, who like are very solid in who they are, and like I was also able to tap into that, and I think that that's strength, and like the fact that I was actually able to do it, and you know, just prove to myself, you know, that number one, I am an actor. I can't like, there is no, even when I'm not in a show, I still have the potential to be an actor. I think that I dropped theater in high school because just like mental health and all this other stuff, but like I did not know if I still had it in me, but this second performance proved that I did, and so like, yeah.
Thank you, yes.
I will say that the topic of Oshun, not just like fixing all of the problems, was actually something that was brought up multiple times in conversation while we were actively making the script, that we did not want Oshun to come across as some sort of like divine being who could just fix everything and would fix everything in this, because of like what we were trying to tell the audience, which was that you have to like step up and do things yourself instead of relying on others to do it for you.
I know we came from the generation where we would hear Captain Planet and a guy would say, "The power is yours." Right? Thank you, Chandler, for that, and thank you, Avi, for adding to that. I want to hop over here to you before we open up to the artists. I mean, to the audience really fast. You're a professional musician, interdisciplinary artist. I mean, there's a lot of things that you do, theater. And I want to tap really into what we did here for this case around music. And I know for me, it was important to lace certain songs, but I really want you to speak, if you can, to how you tackle these songs. Because when you tackle them, and I use the word tackle not lightly, because when you give somebody a song in 2 weeks, can I talk to that, right? 2 weeks. And they tackle it with mastery. You sang a Negro spiritual, you then sang a gospel tune, and then went into another congregational tune as well. Can you speak to the tackling of that, and then the tackling of what it means to go from a Negro spiritual to then go into gospel, and how it might relate to your existence?
Well, I think what becomes the common challenge when taking on pieces with such emotional significance is, how do I bring the quality in my voice that can evoke those feelings? Not just so that an audience is sitting there. We'll do it for now. But not just for an audience to see me as the performer doing the emotions, but actually the audience feeling it themselves. How do I bring that emotion out so that we can share in this emotional truth, not just, oh wow, look at what they're doing on that stage, you know? And something about these pieces that is so deep in resonance is that like, they cut to the depth of what it means to be a person in struggle who knows and loves the earth but is still in struggle and conflict in life, you know? Something that so many ancestors had to go through was like their faith being tested every single day when nothing ever was able to feel easy. That constant yearning for something to be better was constant, but of course the hope that it will be better also was constant, despite the reality of the circumstances our ancestors had to face. And so taking that into today, something so deep that we all know that's very common to us as Minnesotans is our respect for water and for nature. And of course, with this being an Earth Day program, we had 2 of our 3 songs connected to rivers. And their significance all over the world. Many cultures find rivers significant, but specifically as Black people, we use some of those songs to be able to navigate riverways, as like many of our ancestors were escaping from not only just persecution from like we still face today, but enslavement. A really cool thing we learned about Deep River, one of the songs he sang, was that it was actually, the lyrics of that song were actually a covert message to a number of slaves to be able to escape across a particular river in the Carolinas to meet up the next waypoint on the Underground Railroad. So it was disguising itself by using the River Jordan in its lyrics to be like, oh, so that the white owning class could then hear that and be like, oh, they're just, those black people are just talking about God, and they're so pious, not knowing that this was quite directly a message about this is where to go to get onto the next stop on the Underground Railroad, those kinds of tactics. It reminds us that art is vital, and even the expression, that emotional connection I was talking about, that alone is already something sacred and worth celebrating every single day, but it's also the ways that these artistic traditions continue to empower us all of these years later in our own kind of struggle, which looks a lot different from what our ancestors went through, but in some ways has so many of those same shades and still feels the same today. So that's that meaning for me.
I want to just open it up really fast to the audience before anybody have any questions? Yes. Huh?
Said the paper mache was really cool.
Oh,
yeah. That up there, and all the birds, and the bees. Which I'm saying that now, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but yeah. It was really cool.
Thank you to Sandy Spiller for these wonderful puppets and things again. Sandy has been doing puppetry for 45 years, and she's worked at the Heart of the Beast, which is a theater company, and she owns what is called a puppet hut. When I tell you it is an experience, it is an experience. I walked into this place and I see every kind of colorful, iridescent, everything. Each puppet, actually, you can feel them. They take on a form, just even in their stillness. And that's why I was just like, no, we don't have to actually, this water puppet here, her arms move, but it's even the stillness of it. I was just like, that's just enough. We don't have to do much there. So it works, it works. Is there anybody else? Yes.
So, yeah, I'm calling you out. Hadassah, or Corey, was my kiddo, and I was not able to be as involved as helping this production like I would like to have been. So I didn't see the whole production until this afternoon with the news stories involved. And the whole time I was like, oh yeah, this is right up Hadassah's lane. It's all about environmentalism and protecting our earth and the water. And I just really appreciated how you all brought in a story of a young child changing and going to the legislators. Because unfortunately for your generation, you are the ones who are going to have to deal with what the previous generations have not taken care of.
Actually, Gen Alpha has to deal with it. Gen Z does not have to do anything.
But it's also our job to listen to you.
Yes.
Because this is important to you. And you know it is. You made that good joke and it was great. But I know what you're gonna do when we go home. So anyway, I really it's a very relevant conversation with the youth in the world, and we have to listen to them.
Yes. Well, if there's no other voices, I just want to say thank you again. Thank you so much. I am humbled to work with all of you. It is always a humbling process I will say I have a passion. One of my biggest passions, besides people know me to do education, they know me to do art. Comfortably, I could identify myself as a producer, but I really love to I really like to see folk who actually, like you said, they don't see themselves as artists anymore. They don't see themselves as being able to act, or they might not be able to see themselves singing, or for me and my presence, you were already an actor. You already had your star on Hollywood. For me, you already are a Grammy, and you all, like, that's how I work. I don't, when I see people and I see them in their becoming. And so my goal, just living and moving in the world, is to see people in their becoming. I don't ever look at you and your job or what you're doing. I'm going to ask you, what else do you do? You remember that question. What else do you do? And then you're like, oh, I do this. I was like, we need to chat further, and we'll follow up. And we did. You know, Avi, what else do you do? I wanted to create. I'm that person, and I really thank you for allowing me the opportunity to dive in with you. And also, hopefully, you didn't just fall in love with yourself, but in the words of Toni Morrison, you learned to rise in it. So I want to congratulate everybody for being here. One more hand of applause for them. I'm going to get us out of here. My online community, thank you so much for coming. Like I said, this is the First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis. I am the Minister of Lifelong Learning, J. Exodus Hooper. You are welcome to come to this space, feel at home, feel like you belong here, but not only that, feel like you can become, most of all, because even though we are the home of congregational humanism, I would love to offer you this opportunity that we are a congregation that is beyond belief, and we welcome you to become and grow with us. Thank you.